When someone loses love for you, they will first do these two things. Have you ever felt like someone you care about is slowly drifting away, even though you're still right there with them? It's like something has shifted, but you can't exactly figure out what it is. At the start, everything was so perfect. They were all in. The connection was deep, real, and solid. You felt safe, loved, and cherished like you were truly important to them. But now things feel different. It's like something's off. You start noticing subtle changes, things that weren't there before. The way they look at you has changed. The way they talk to you feels distant, colder, less engaging. They don't respond the same way they used to, or worse, they don't respond at all. So you start to question it. Is it just that they're busy? Maybe they're going through something difficult. Or could it be that they've stopped loving you? It's a hard thing to face, but here's the truth you need to understand. When someone's love for you starts fading, it doesn't happen all at once. It's a slow, gradual process that can be really hard to notice at first. The signs are subtle, almost invisible. But before they completely walk away, they will always do two specific things that reveal the truth. If you know what to look for, you'll be able to see these changes long before they actually say anything. The shift in their behavior will speak volumes, even if their words don't match up. In this video, I'm going to break down exactly what these two things are, so you never have to wonder or feel unsure about your relationship again. You'll know the signs to look out for, and once you do, it'll be easier to understand what's happening before things go too far. Make sure you stick with me until the very end, because understanding these signs will not only help you see what's really going on, but it will also help you figure out what steps to take next. Whether it's finding closure or making decisions about your future, these insights will guide you. And before we dive in, if you find value in this video, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this with others. The more people who understand these signs, the more hearts we can help protect from unnecessary pain and heartbreak. Now let's get started and break down the truth about what happens when love starts to fade. Love doesn't just vanish in an instant. It doesn't disappear overnight like a light being switched off. Instead, it fades gradually, often so slowly that you don't even realize it's happening, until one day you wake up and everything feels different. When someone starts falling out of love with you, they rarely come right out and say it. Sometimes they don't even fully understand it themselves. They might feel like something is off, but instead of addressing it, they just start behaving differently. And whether they realize it or not, their actions will tell you the truth long before they find the words to admit it. So, what's the first thing they do when they start losing feelings? They withdraw emotionally. It doesn't happen all at once. At first, it's subtle. They're still around physically, sitting next to you, sharing space, going through the motions. But something is different. You feel it before you see it. It's in the way they talk, the way they look at you, the way they engage, or don't engage, when you try to connect. The deep conversations that used to flow so naturally, they start to feel shallow, like they're just responding out of obligation rather than interest. The text messages that used to be filled with warmth, excitement, and inside jokes now feel cold, brief, and distant, just enough to respond, but not enough to make you feel connected. The little gestures that once made you feel special, the random check-ins, the thoughtful surprises, the way they used to light up when you walked into the room, start to disappear one by one. It's not that they've completely stopped showing up, but the effort behind those gestures is missing. And when you finally gather the courage to ask them what's wrong, when you say, "Hey, is everything okay?" or "You seem different lately," the answer is almost always the same. "Nothing. "I'm just tired. I've just been really busy. I've had a lot on my mind." The words might sound reasonable, even believable. But deep down, you feel it, the growing distance between you, the invisible wall they started building. At first, you try to ignore it, telling yourself that it's just a rough patch, that things will go back to normal soon. But as time passes, the changes become impossible to deny. The hardest part isn't just that they're pulling away, it's that they're not even trying to fix it. Because the truth is, when someone genuinely loves you, they put in the effort no matter what. Even when life gets hard, even when they're tired or stressed, they still make time. They still show up for you, because that's what love does. It prioritizes, it nurtures, it tries. But when love starts fading, the effort disappears, little by little. They stop asking about your day, not because they forgot, but because they no longer feel the same curiosity about your life. They stop lighting up when you share your passions, responding instead with a distracted "that's nice" or a half-hearted nod. They don't get excited about making plans with you anymore. And when you do spend time together, they seem more focused on their phone, the TV, or literally anything else. At first, you try to justify it. Maybe they just need space. Maybe they're stressed. Maybe if you just give them time, things will go back to how they were. But in reality, they're emotionally detaching. And the more they pull away emotionally, the more their actions start to change. The connection that once felt effortless now feels strained. The warmth that once existed between you feels distant, like you're holding on to something that's already slipping through your fingers. You can feel it happening, but you don't know how to stop it. And that's the most painful part of all. Now let's talk about the second major thing they'll do when they start falling out of love with you. They stop prioritizing you. At the beginning, you were a priority in their life. They made time for you. They made an effort to be with you, and they cared about how you felt. You felt important to them, like you mattered. But somewhere along the way, things changed. You begin to notice that you're no longer at the top of their list. At first, it's little things. They cancel plans more often than they used to. Something always seems to come up, and they offer excuses for why they can't be with you. They might say they're too busy with work, or that something urgent has come up. But what happens when you try to express your feelings about it? They act like you're overreacting, like you're making a big deal out of nothing. The things that used to be normal and easy to ask for in the relationship, affection, communication, and quality time, start to feel like too much to ask for. And this is when the truth starts to become undeniable. When someone truly loves you, they show it in their actions. They make time for you, they prioritize you, and they want to make sure you feel loved. But when someone starts to lose feelings for you, they begin prioritizing everything else over you. Suddenly their job, their friends, or other commitments always seem more important than spending time with you. At first, you might try to rationalize it. Maybe they're just really busy with work. Maybe they're going through a tough time and need space. Maybe they just need some time to themselves. It's easy to convince yourself that it's not as bad as it seems because you don't want to face the reality of what's happening. But deep down, you know the truth. Because love doesn't just fade without a reason. When someone truly cares about you, they make time for you. They don't let work or stress get in the way of the relationship. They don't make you feel like you're asking for too much just by wanting their attention. They show you they care through their actions, not just their words. But when someone stops making that effort, when they stop putting in the work to keep the connection alive, that's when you know something is changing. And it's a painful realization. The worst part is that their actions change long before their words do. They won't necessarily tell you directly that they're falling out of love. They won't sit you down and have a dramatic conversation about it. Sometimes they just slowly start disappearing from your life, bit by bit. It's a gradual process, and before you know it, you realize you're the one chasing them, trying to get their attention, trying to pull them back into the relationship. But they're not responding the way they used to. And the painful truth is, you feel it happening. You notice the distance growing between you, the silence where there used to be conversations, the coldness where there used to be warmth. You feel a shift, but you don't want to believe it. You want to convince yourself that everything will be okay, that they're just going through something temporary, because admitting that they're losing love for you hurts more than anything. So, what can you do when you start seeing these signs? What steps can you take to protect yourself? First and foremost, don't beg for their love. If someone is emotionally withdrawing and pulling away, chasing them, and begging them to care will only make things worse. It won't bring you closer. It will only push you further apart. Instead, take a step back. Give yourself the space to really observe the situation. Do they notice when you start pulling away? Do they try to bridge the gap, make an effort to fix the distance between you? Or do they seem almost relieved that you're no longer trying to force a connection? Their response to your absence will tell you everything you need to know. If someone truly loves you, they will notice when you pull away. They will sense the change, and they will want to make it right. They will be the ones to try and bring you back, to rekindle the bond. But if they don't notice, if they don't make any effort to reconnect, then that's your answer. As painful as it may be, it's better to know the truth than to continue holding on to someone who no longer values you. Because when someone stops prioritizing you, it's their way of showing you exactly where you stand in their life. And if they can live without you, if they're fine with letting the relationship fade away without a second thought, you shouldn't have to beg them to be in your life. The right person will never make you feel like an option or an afterthought. They will never make you feel like you're inconvenient or a burden. They will make you feel valued and loved, not like you're someone they tolerate when they have the time. And when you can recognize these signs early, you have the power to walk away before they break your heart completely. The truth is hard, but knowing where you stand can save you from wasting time on someone who isn't willing to fight for you. When you recognize these signs, you give yourself the space to find someone who truly values and prioritizes you. Don't settle for anything less than what you deserve. I'd love to hear from you. Your experiences matter, and your story could help someone who's going through the same thing. Have you ever been in a relationship where you started noticing these signs? Maybe at first, things felt normal, but then something changed. Was there a specific moment when you realized they were falling out of love with you? Maybe it was when they started cancelling plans, or when their messages became less frequent and more distant. Or perhaps it was a slow realization, one that crept up on you over time until you couldn't deny it anymore. Whatever your experience, I'd love for you to share it in the comments below. Let's open up this conversation and create a space where we can learn from each other. You never know, what you share might be exactly what someone else needs to hear. It might give them clarity, validation, or even the strength to walk away from a situation that no longer serves them. So don't hesitate to drop a comment and let me know your thoughts. And if this video helped you, if it gave you a new perspective or made you feel understood, please take a moment to like, subscribe, and share. It might seem like a small action, but it makes a huge difference in spreading awareness. The more people who see this, the more people who can recognize these signs before they get too deep into a relationship that's no longer fulfilling. Your support helps grow this community, and it ensures that more people have access to the guidance and insights they need. So if you haven't already, hit that like button subscribe to the channel, and share this with anyone who might need it. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you being here, and I look forward to hearing your stories in the comments. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.